Chatechesis.
Very good. Thanks for that, Shane. And apologies for the delay in getting to speak with you this morning. Father Eamonn with you here for our Chatechesis on Radio Maria Ireland. Some guests came in to visit us here today. It's a bit like that. It's a bit of a roller coaster here, or kind of non-stop. And it's good. I mean, it's a healthy thing that we have such a throughput of visitors and people who are supporting us and encouraging us in our work and coming and seeing and sampling Roisin scones and all these things and demanding a little bit of attention. So apologies for the late start today. Things tripped me up all over the place. Had the same story a bit on Tuesday, my own fault again. So thanks for bearing with us and being patient with us here on Radio Maria. We're very glad of this. It's a very sort of human kind of a place here, and all of these things are just part of family life. The shapes come your way and things get cut across you, so never fear and never tune out or never despair that we're still close at hand and things are running along as they would, but trying to cope with the various little things that arise from time to time. So great to have you with us today, and nice to be able to share with you once again. We had some lovely visits yesterday again, and big shout out to all the lovely people we met. We were visiting the Diocese of Killaloe, and so Deacon Don and myself travelled down earlier yesterday morning to Ennis, and we called into the friary there. We would have gone to the cathedral, but they didn't have a 10 o'clock Mass. I think the way it works in Ennis, they leave the 10 o'clock Mass in the morning to the friary, the Franciscans, and they have an 11 o'clock Mass instead in the cathedral. So we had to meet the bishop at 11:30, so that meant we ended up in the friary. And it was nice to meet Father Pascal. Pascal MacDonald. He has a brother in the Salesians here, Father Eamonn McCarthy, whom of course Deacon Don would know very well through the Divine Mercy the work of the Divine Mercy Conference, and it's the case that we had an instant contact there, an instant connection with him, and able to just say hello and meet and greet, and can celebrate and say hello to one or two parishioners afterwards as well. So that was a lovely visit, and my first time there to the friary in Ennis. And we popped in next door then afterwards to the poor Clare sisters. We got one or two photographs as well. Put those up on our social media for you. And the poor Clare sisters, of course, wonderful community of enclosed nuns of the Franciscan order who pray morning, noon and night. And they gave us a grand welcome. And we met, I'd say, 5 or 6 of them came out to meet and greet us. But again, they would have been better known to Deacon Don and his ministry through the Divine Mercy, and would most certainly have heard of and learned about Radio Maria, maybe through people visiting in. I doubt very much if they listened to it. The poor Clares, I'm not so sure indeed how much sort of digital interaction they're permitted, because with the religious communities like this, they are enclosed and so cut off to a proper extent, I suppose, from the world, and yet seem to have great knowledge too. They learn it, of course, from all the visitors who come in to see them. So they're very gracious to us and kindly welcomed us. Had a lovely chat with them and a lovely little group photograph as well. It's a really nice visit, I must say, and that was Deacon Don's idea. And he popped in especially to thank them for their prayers. These communities are just marvellous places to visit if it is that you're burdened and troubled and have need of prayer intentions. They specialise in that, and they allow a little open time in the parlour, as they call it, where they meet you and would speak with you and share your troubles and pray with you and pray for you. It's a beautiful ministry that they have. And from there we popped across then to the bishop, who very kindly welcomed us. I have a little audio recording that I'll share with you, and very congenial atmosphere there at the bishop's house, and Bishop Finton very supportive and very encouraging, always has been, of our work on Radio Maria. Anything good that's going on, Bishop Finton is very approachable, very sanguine, I suppose, is the personality, and very supportive, like I say, just anything good that's going on. So we got a little sound clip from him, and he's well versed in social media and does regular clips for his YouTube channel. He's on Twitter and Facebook, LinkedIn, of course, as well, and Instagram. So bit of a buff on all of these social media outlets and using them very creatively and very constructively as a part of his episcopal ministry, and reaching, I'm sure, a contingent of souls that he might not otherwise reach as a result. And I was just dipping into some of his material, his more recent material. I think for the summer he just took on a project of out and about in the diocese, and you see him visiting churches all around, shrines all around the diocese, in the Burren, for instance. Kilfenora was another one I spotted there. Was it Kilfanan or Killan? The name won't come back to me. But even though, as he described in the video, the parish is without a priest, you have beautiful churches, and yet still, again, being well served and maintained and appreciated as well. So fabulous idea. Very simple, and a great way for a bishop to get out and about, to know his diocese and to interact with his people, and to learn what's going on the ground and see what's going on the ground. And it's a nice little prayerful journey. He always puts in a little prayer, a little spiritual aspiration of that in there too. So fairness to Bishop Hinton, he's got a lively ministry going with that, and it's just conversant. It's quite comfortable in that whole realm of social media, and gave me a couple of little ideas for my own purposes here for the radio, and I do hope indeed we'll share a little bit of his output with you likewise, and plunder, as I said to him, some of his audiovisual material for sharing on the radio. And indeed it's something we've been a bit remiss on. Again, it's very healthy to have these conversations, that there are other bishops likewise who invest a bit of time into social media and put up messages online, and I think we would do well here to share some of that with you. We'll be selective, of course, and communicate that with you as well, because not everybody would have access to the various social media outlets, and Radio Maria would be a great instrument to tap into that resource. And it's ready-made material. It's kind of a no-brainer, you might say. So very good. We met Teresa McGuan. Teresa very kindly came across from Clare Castle to meet and greet us. Teresa has been a big fan of the radio for a long time, and she very graciously hosted us, if you like, and we went down to Clare Castle with her and went to visit her parish priest there as well, Father Pat, and who again gave us a nice welcome. They were busy in the parish office there at the time, so we didn't get maybe enough time, but he said, look, come back another day, which we'd be happy to do as well. So in Clare Castle, which is just outside Ennis, it's only 10 minutes, if that, maybe. It's like a little suburb of Ennis town, which is a beautiful town in its own right. The lovely little narrow streets in and around, lovely place to visit. And of course a lovely scenic part of Ireland in its own way too. Everywhere we've gone, we've enjoyed that. It's been a lovely kind of bonus for my work here to go out and meet you, and to go out and visit the corners of Ireland, and to see the beauty of our own country, something I would never otherwise have had any opportunity to do. So that was our little visit there, and thanks to Teresa as well. She's again very encouraging of our work here, and supportive indeed of our labours too, and taking a little bit of literature as well. We passed out a few leaflets there to the poor Clares. We met a few of the ladies after Mass in the Friary, and left a few leaflets as well with Father Pat in the parish of Clare Castle. So, distributing far and wide. So to try to make the best use of our time, then we filled in a couple of visits to the community hospital in Ennis, and one of the other nursing homes, the name of which escapes me now at the minute, but it was only just a courtesy call and meeting a staff member at the door really, and explaining about the blessing of Radio Maria, and sharing then some of the literature, and also the fact that the radio can be tuned into via television on Sairview 210.